All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're exploring an ancient poem that was literally born from a moment of total crisis. It's this incredibly raw journey. It kicks off in the wreckage of a massive national defeat and somehow finds its way to this hard-won resolve. We're talking about Psalm 60. And right away, the poem just throws you into the deep end with this incredible line. It says, "You have given us wine that makes us stagger." I mean, just think about that image for a second. It's pure confusion, total disorientation. This isn't just a bad day. This is a world completely turned on its head. And the craziest part? They're saying God is the one who poured the drink. So, yeah, this thing doesn't start with any kind of gentle praise or a polite prayer. Nope. It starts with a scene of just utter devastation. We are starting deep in the ruins. And just listen to how raw this language is. This speaker is saying, "You've rejected us. You've burst upon us. You've shaken the land and torn it open." Wow, this isn't just some fancy poetry, right? This is the language of an earthquake, of a military invasion, of a complete societal collapse. The very ground beneath their feet is shaking, and they're basically pointing a finger and saying, "You broke this, you have to fix it." And that really gets to the heart of it. This isn't some passive, quiet prayer. Not at all. This is a community looking straight up and confronting the very power they hold responsible. It's a straight-up accusation, and it's coming from this deep, painful place of betrayal. It's basically them shouting, "How could you let this happen to us?" But then, just when the despair feels absolutely crushing, the whole mood of the poem just pivots. It turns on a dime, all because of a single, really powerful symbol. We're about to move from ruin to the very first glimmer of hope, and it's all about a banner. And right there in the middle of all that wreckage, we get this line. "But for those who fear you, you have raised a banner to be unfurled against the bow." So in the midst of all that staggering and quaking, this one sign of hope shows up. But what is this banner? What does it actually mean? Okay, so for us today, a banner, it's like a flag, right? But we have to understand, in ancient warfare, the banner was everything. It was the king's visible presence right there on the battlefield. Imagine the chaos, the noise, the fear. The banner was the one thing soldiers would look for to know where to regroup. It told them their commander was still there, that the fight was not over. It was this powerful symbol of authority, one single point of order in the middle of absolute mayhem. So here's the key takeaway, right? The banner cuts right through all that confusion. After being made to stagger like they're drunk, suddenly there's this one single clear point of focus. It's a signal from their king, and it's basically saying, "I have not abandoned you. Rally to me, the battle is still on." All right, so with that banner of hope now raised, the psalm takes another dramatic turn. The voice actually shifts. We're not hearing from the person crying out in pain anymore. Now we're about to hear a direct word of assurance. The text literally says, "God has spoken from his sanctuary." This is it. This is the divine response to that first desperate cry for help. And it starts with a phrase that just flips the whole story on its head, "in triumph." And what comes next is this incredible three-step blueprint for how victory is going to happen. Step 1, reclaim the homeland. God says places like Shechem and Sukkoth are mine. Step 2, re-equip the nation for war. Ephraim is my helmet, Judah is my scepter. And step 3, totally dominate the enemies. Moab is just a wash basin, and I'll toss my sandal on Edom to claim it. It's this perfect, systematic reversal of all the chaos we saw at the beginning. But hold on. Even with this incredibly powerful promise from God, the psalmist isn't done. See, a promise is one thing, but actually believing it, that's a whole other story. Now the speaker has to really wrestle with this. So let's look at this final section. Where does victory actually come from? And this next part is just so human. The promise has been made, but the psalmist looks at the real world, at the actual obstacles, and asks this super practical question. It's like, okay, great speech, but who's actually going to get me into that fortified city? Who's going to lead me to Edom? How does this big divine promise turn into muddy, bloody, real-world action? And right here, you can just feel that internal struggle. It's so clear. Even after hearing this incredible promise, the memory of the trauma is still there. It's fresh. So the speaker asks, "Is it not you, God? You who have now rejected us?" Wow. That pain from the very first verse, that feeling of being abandoned, it all comes rushing right back. This is a crisis of faith happening in real time. So you see the dilemma, right? It's like the psalmist is trying to solve this impossible puzzle. On one hand, there's the old reality. God has rejected us. On the other hand, there's this new conclusion. Human help is worthless. So if your allies can't save you and you feel like God has already rejected you, where do you even go from there? And then finally, we get the resolution. After weighing all that past pain against the fact that human effort is useless, the speaker makes a conscious choice, a declaration. With God, we will gain the victory, and He will trample down our enemies. You see, this isn't about feelings anymore. It's a statement of action. It's a decision to trust the promise, even when every part of your past experience screams not to. And just like that, the whole emotional journey comes full circle. We started with the people staggering in confusion, blaming God for their defeat, and we end with this clear-eyed, powerful declaration that God is the only way to win. It's an incredible shift from total ruin to unshakable resolve. So this ancient poem leaves us with a really modern question, doesn't it? For you, for me, when things are falling apart, when it feels like the ground is shaking and we're just staggering in confusion, what's our banner? What's that one clear thing we can rally to? That one thing that brings focus and hope and the will to keep going?